Hey guys, welcome back to Our Lives Across the Border. Hope you are doing well today. It is a Wednesday here. It's going to be about 1:10. So my plans are just to hang out inside and stay cool. If you haven't subscribed to the page, please do. Please like the video and share and leave a comment below so we know that you're there. Today I wanted to talk about the process of when hubby was actually deported, but more on my side, like more like stuff that I didn't tell him till about 6 months ago, and I don't think he really grasped exactly what I was talking about. But long story short, when he was in the ICE detention center, he had went and saw the judge on a Thursday, and he wasn't fighting his case because he knew in the end he probably was still going to be deported, so why waste more time? So he saw the judge, and then the next day on Friday, they told him basically, you're leaving. So he gave me a call and said, I'm leaving around noon from the center. And they did not tell him exactly where they were going to be dropping him off, but we assumed TJ because it's kind of like the rumored area where people get dropped off. There are other areas, but TJ is usually where most of them get dropped off at. So we packed up our stuff and we headed down to TJ, which is about an 8-hour drive from where we were and probably about a 7-hour drive from where he was. So prior to this, a couple weeks prior, we had taken a box that had some clothes for him to wear when he was going to be released. And we had a cell phone in there that was charged, but of course turned off. Now they didn't give that to him while he was in the center, obviously. It was for when they were going to basically say, oh, okay, you're free, goodbye. And that was so he would have a phone to communicate, wherever they were going to leave him at. So when we got down to San Diego, before we had crossed in, we had actually checked the ICE website. They have like an official website where you can go on and search for your family member, either by their name or by the number that they're given when they are picked up. They're given like an identification number. And it wasn't showing him in the system anymore. So it was kind of like, okay, we haven't heard from him. Why is he not in the system anymore? So I actually called where he was being held, which was actually in McFarland in California. And the lady there told me that due to security reasons, she couldn't give me any information and to refer to their online website, which I was telling her, it's telling me he's not in the system, I can't search him anymore, but we have not heard from him. And she just kind of told me, I'm sorry, I can't give you any more other information. So it was me and his mom and his sister, okay? So we were getting like, all these bad things start going through our head. We start thinking, did they not take him to TJ? Did they take him somewhere else? Did they take him to TJ, but they didn't give him his cell phone? And, somebody is robbing him. You're thinking of all these bad things that you hear that happen in TJ, right? And so we waited about another hour, and then we actually crossed into TJ. It was probably about 11 o'clock at night when we crossed in. And it's busy. It was so busy over there. I'd never been to TJ before, but like people everywhere, even though it was getting late, like everyone hustle bustle, whatever. So we stopped in at a like a building like after you cross in, and they've got basically like the Mexican army there. And so I can't speak Spanish, so I didn't do it. But my sister-in-law was like, hey, we're waiting for my brother, and he's supposed to be deported, and he's supposed to be being dropped off here. They wouldn't give us any information. It was kind of like, yeah, they might drop him off here, they might drop him off down there. Basically like, we can't help you. So, it's like, okay. Then we start asking, well, do you know if any buses have been, has anybody been through here that's being deported, Oh, we don't know, basically useless information, okay? As we're getting more and more and more stressed out, thinking all these bad things, okay? So we kind of start driving around a little bit because they did tell her that there's another place you can check and see if any buses had gone there. So we went down the way, and I remember her going inside, and those people seemed like they really weren't that helpful either. When she got back in the car, it was kind of like, no information, basically. So this is where it gets crazy. And this is, like I said, about 6 months ago, I had mentioned something to him about it, and I think it kind of went in one ear and out the other. But and if my sister-in-law sees this, please don't be mad that I'm sharing this story. But one of the things that somebody had said when she had went to that area to ask questions is that sometimes when people are released late at night, they will go and stay at this like homeless place, and it's basically like tents. It's right by the border, and people can go and stay until basically they find their families or whatever. Okay, so of course my mother-in-law, I mean, think about it, it's her son, you know, like she's just trying to pick him up. And so I'm not kidding, we went down to this place in TJ at like 1 a.m, no lie. Okay, we're dressed nice, sister-in-law has a nice expensive truck. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get robbed. I'm thinking all these crazy things that I've heard about TJ, right? And I'm scared, but I don't want them to know I'm scared, but I am terrified that I'm gonna get robbed, mugged, picked up, trafficked, all that stuff I like heard, like I was scared. And so we walk over to this area, and I remember it's by all these nightclubs. And like I said, I've never been to TJ before, so if anyone's been to TJ, maybe they know where I'm talking about. But there was a lot of nightclubs, and you could hear the music. It's Friday night. You could hear the music just bumping, and there were people, you know, that were kind of walking in and out, you know, so there were those people. But then there was all these tents, and it was like we kind of walked in there, but nobody was really like outside. And you could hear like people like talking, you know, or listening to like a radio or something, but it was like, okay, now what do we do? So somebody was out walking around and had approached us. And so, you know, they had asked him, hey, we're looking for a loved one. He was deported. We have not heard from him. And thank God this person was nice enough to say that nobody knew had come over in that area at all that day, and that there was nobody that was dropped off there, basically. And so I remember walking back to the truck thinking, oh my God. And the whole time my sister-in-law was like, you can't tell my brother, you cannot tell my brother, he will be so upset if he knew that we were walking the streets of TJ. My own mother would beat my ass if she knew I was walking the streets of TJ. I don't even think I told her. But anyways, so yeah, a little crazy, right? So we walked around and did not find him. So after that, it was kind of like this huge letdown for me, you know, because I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. And so, you know, that whole day you're thinking, I get to see him and I'm so excited. And it was just like this, I just wanted to cry. A, I didn't know where he was. B, I didn't know if he was okay. And C, I just wanted to hug him and know that he was okay, you know, and I know that his mom and sister did too. So that's when we decided, well, we're not going to hang out in TJ. It was like 3 a.m. And so we decided just to start driving over to Mexicali, which is where, you know, where we live now, but that's where they have family. So we would have a place to stay. So we got into about an hour of our drive, and my phone rings, and it's him. And he's in LA. And it turns out that they went from McFarland to Bakersfield and then waited for hours in Bakersfield. And they didn't get a phone call or nothing to tell their family members, hey, like, we're still in Bakersfield. We still got to go to LA. You know, there was no communication on that part. So it was exciting hearing from him. And it was just like, you know, knowing that he was okay. And he said that they had told him that they would arrive in TJ around 8:30 in the morning, and that he would call us when he got there. And so we turned around, headed back to TJ. Well, actually, we stayed in San Diego, and we did have a hard time finding a hotel because technically it was after midnight, so technically it was the next day, and check-in isn't supposed to be until, you know, like 3-4 in the afternoon. So it did take us probably about an hour to find a hotel, but we did. And so then, happy ending, he did call, like he said, around 8:30, and he was ready to be picked up. And so we headed across the border to TJ to pick him up. So I'm going to do another video in a little bit about picking him up in TJ, because that's a whole nother video. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a little bit of experience, share a little secret with you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you later.